Hey there and welcome to Figgy Plays Anime History 101, also known as the History of Anime and Manga, a crash course. So this isn't like your typical visual novels, as this one is an informative one, and I don't think there's a lot of gameplay. So let's see. This is a game focused on teaching a brief history of anime and manga. Hopefully it will be somewhat fun and people can learn from it. Please note that nothing in this game belongs to me other than the research put into it. Credits go to AnimeRain.com and various LSF artists for the graphics. What's your name? That's right, Figgy. Nice meeting you, Figgy. That said, let's go to class. So I heard we have a different class today. Oh, hey. Yeah, Hey Mika, what were you guys talking about? What? No hello from me? Ignoring Hiro. Oh hi Sinto, there's a special class this week. Right, someone's supposed to come and talk to us about manga and history and stuff. Like Osamu Tezuka? History? I'm not really a big fan of his work. So you like Disney more? You know Tezuka was influenced big by Disney, and they even bounced back some things like, you know, if you can't find the similarities between Kimba and Simba, you need to find a good therapist. Yeah, I guess, but that's really a class? For real? I heard from the sophomores that there's even tests. They had it last week. Huh? Anyway, let's get going. We were waiting for you. So did you hear about the class? Yeah, how could I not have? I've been looking forward to this ever since I heard about it from the sophomores. I mean, come on. You know how much watashi wa anime ga daisuki desu. Seriously? Hey, listen. Anyway, have you been reading Bleach lately? There's so much happening. I just love it, even if it is kind of confusing. This stuff isn't just for show, you know. It's for whacking annoying kids who won't listen. That's Miss Green, I guess. She seems kind of scary. Lol, you're a wimp. I didn't say anything. Guys, I think we should pay attention. Everyone listening now? Yes, no, okay, great. Let's get started. I'm Miss Green, and yes, this class is about anime and manga. More specifically, it's history. Collective groan. I bet none of you know what the first manga ever translated to English was. Any guesses? I'm gonna say Astro Boy because that's the most oldest anime manga thing I know. Is it Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy? Nope, but I can see why you'd think that, you uneducated little munchkin. The correct answer is Keiji Nakazawa's Barefoot Gen. It came over in 1980, or so they say. But that was just a quick trivia. Moving on. Right, so now Miss Green's letting us make our own projects. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Well, it has to be about history, right? And at least it's not an essay. Yeah, I don't think I could do that, even if I wanted to. Back on topic. Let's start as far back as possible. Checking the internet. Wow, I found one that says it goes back all the way back to the 18th century. You know, those woodblock things. Move over and let me read. In the late 18th century in Japan, yellow cover books known as kibyōshi began to appear. These were similar to modern manga in that they were produced for the buying masses and featured illustrations paired creatively with dialogue and narration. However, by the mid-19th century, these were nearly gone due to government censorship and new technology. So that was the origin of today's manga. I've always heard it was the American influence after World War II. Could be. Different sources argue for different things, but it looks like there's only two camps in this debate. Huh? So it's divided into the people who think that manga has its roots in Japan, and the people who think manga has its roots in American animation, like Disney? Yep, actually, I think what supports that American influence theory is how heavily the father of manga was affected by Western animation. The father of manga? That's what they call Osamu Tezuka, the guy who wrote Astro Boy and Hinotori, you know, all those early influential manga. Alright class, you guys can take a break now. Be back in 10 minutes, okay? You know, I actually kind of want to keep working. Well, screw you then. Pokemon time. Fun time. Yes, critical hit. No, it survived! Damn straight Leafon survived. If you two idiots are done, break is over, and I found more information by the way. Sure, Mom. Thanks for waiting for us. Let's just go. I got some facts for us. Sorry we weren't helping. You're buying me chocolate after this. Huh? Why me and not Figgy? Because. Cough. Anyway, guess where the inspirations for the first anime came from? It's actually not too surprising. I'm gonna guess fairy tales, because those were kind of like the first sort of stories to ever be told. They came from fairy tales, right? Yeah, see, this isn't too bad. Number 1, the first animes from the 1920s were dramatizations of Oriental folktales, like The Monkey King and others. Someone writing this down? Yeah. Great. Number 2, during World War II, every animator who didn't help make war propaganda with their skills was refused publishing rights, but the guys who did give in and help were published. Ooh, harsh. The Japanese government even commissioned a war anime with the Imperial Navy as cute little weaselly things and the Allies as evil devil horn people. Of course, in the anime, the weasels beat the devils, somehow. Then after that, progress was slow going because of the recovering post-war economy and America's anti-pre-war era thing. But it was around this time that influential creators like Osamu Tezuka started realizing that the subject demand was changing. Anti-pre-war thing? At the time, American occupation forces were still in Japan, and they enlisted a censorship of almost everything that was tied to Japanese history/culture, even stuff like manga. If there was a samurai in it, bam, censored. Anyway, some say this was when modern fantasy and sci-fi first started getting popular thanks to Tezuka's Astro Boy and other similar works, as well as the fact that they couldn't publish anything the American government didn't like. It wasn't a coincidence that a lot of anime manga of the time was sci-fi or Tarzan-y or glorifying westernized ways. And then in the 1980s came Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata, best known for Studio Ghibli. After Miyazaki's first smash hit Nausicaa, Studio Ghibli came into being. By this time, giant robot animes were starting to make their way over into America. There were over 40 different popular titles with giant robots at the time. This culture leak or whatever started kind of an anime cult, I guess would be the best way to describe it in America. On a slightly different note, do you guys know about the manga production system's origins? Tezuka? Yep, a real overachiever that one. It was Tezuka again. He, being the nice guy he was, didn't want to turn down any of the producers competing for his work, so he got kinda overworked and was forced for the sake of his health to hire assistants. And it was this decision that carried down through his apprentices, assistants who eventually hired assistants for themselves, and you know. He had to do this and go to medical school. Wow. He went to med school? Yeah, his official title is Dr. Tezuka. Tezuka also pioneered the story manga style, which focused on complex plots and long-running story arcs, in contrast to what Japan had previously. Before the story manga came about, manga was scarily similar to America's Sunday comics, very short episodes only loosely tied together at best. Huh? That's a lot of information. I think we're good for now. Not yet, we still have to do up the present day. But don't you mean you guys still have to do up to the present day? Well, I guess that's fair. I mean, you got us this far. We can finish it. Let's do this. So, because of Osamu Tezuka's Astro Boy, which was targeted at young audiences but was read by almost everyone, manga started being seen as something that was for everyone, not just like kids in America. Do I have that right? Yeah. Also, this one essay on the internet draws the line at the 1950s because that was when the manga explosion set off by Tezuka started really growing. Like what you just said. Before the 1950s, most readers put down manga by the time they hit middle school, but kids born after the 1950s would have grown up with manga and stuff, so... Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm sure you are all too wrapped up in your projects to notice, but class is over. See you all tomorrow. Sigh. Next day. We need to finish today. Tomorrow everyone presents, right? And then there's a test. Why would they do that to us? Because they knew you'd react like this? Well, whatever, I don't really mind. Me too, we should be okay with all the info we have. Good morning, my little loves. Good morning. Good morning. That's much better than yesterday, thank you. Anyway, today you all need to finish your projects because tomorrow is presentations and the test I know you're all looking forward to. Another groan. We're in the 1960s now and manga for older people. For example, super dark, sometimes porn manga and anime are being published. Apparently that wasn't a really good idea though, because it died really fast once something called seinen manga came out. What's that? Seinen manga was targeted toward older male audiences than the popular shonen boys manga that was and still is really popular. Oh, I see. Three companies, Shogakukan, Kodansha and Shueisha, got in a big publishing battle over the attention of the seinen age readers. Guess which one won? I like the sound of Shogakukan. Nope. It was losing at first, but eventually Shueisha won because they were a younger company and therefore had more publishing freedom. Why is that? Because the other two had contracts with established authors and series already and couldn't change their diversity to what people wanted. Oh, I see. How are you guys doing? Hi Mika, we got up to the publishing war between the three major companies at the time. Shogakukan, Kodansha and Shueisha, right? How'd you know that? Because, anyway, guess what I just found? Yaoi. Yaoi? Yuri? I figured we should include some modern manga genres in there. No, please, no. There are some weirder parts of manga that a lot of people probably haven't heard of, so I figured we should introduce it, at least a little. So you mean yaoi and yuri? How will the class respond though? It scares me, to be honest. Nobody cares, come on, let's finish. Well, we've got stuff about shonen manga, but nothing about shoujo, girls manga. See, that's where I was going with the yaoi. Please, just stop. Anyway, America's really different from Japan when it comes to girls and comics. American women don't really have a corresponding genre. In Japan, there's a manga for everyone, but in America, it tends to be mostly for guys. That's kind of sad. I've never read any shoujo manga though. What are they usually about? Shoujo manga is characterized by the common elements of drama, romance, schoolgirl protagonist, stuff you don't usually find in shonen manga. It focuses more on mood and subtleties than shonen manga. But did you know shoujo manga up till the 1960s was mostly made by men? Women artists could be counted on one hand. Huh? That's interesting. And it was a lot different than today's shoujo manga. For instance, today's stuff like Sinto said is usually about romance, right? Guess what it used to be? If it was aimed at girls and boys? Wrong. Did you hear what I just said? Before, the primary relationship in shoujo mangas was between mothers and daughters, not boys and girls, or boys and boys, Stop! Anyway, in 1963 they started realizing that since the demand was going up for shoujo manga, women could meet those wants better than men could, obviously. So for the next decade or so, there was a steady stream of women artists like Keiko Takemiya and Ryoko Ikeda. Pretty sure you've heard of them, right? I read Takeyamo's Totera, it was really good. I've heard of Ryoko Ikeda, she wrote Roads of Versailles, a popular shoujo manga at the time. Back on topic, in the 1980s there was a trend for greater diversity among manga genres, especially in shoujo manga. This just got more complicated when publishers realized that there was a demand among adult women as well as manga made just for them. At first in the early 1980s, the attempts at making manga for adult women were kinda like American soap operas and late night TV. Lots of sleazy stuff, I guess you'd call it. The publishers got the message a few years later though, because nobody wanted to buy them. Instead, the intended audiences were just going back to the same manga they liked in high school, not this new lady porn stuff. Which is not related to yaoi at all, but still, it's an important genre. Why do you keep going back to the subject of boy x boy romance? Because it's important. I don't get why it's so popular either, okay? You know how today we've got all these ambiguously gay pretty boys? Cautiously, yes. They and their fandom showed up only recently, you know. What about it? Nothing. Just goes to show how much manga has changed. Before it was the girls who had long eyelashes and long hair and no muscles. Good point actually. Now switching gender roles is becoming popular. I wonder if that'll ever make it to America's comics. Imagine Superman, but Super Lady Man, with long flowing silver hair and... I'm going to stop now. Good idea. I think we're done. Do you think this is a good ending statement? The future of... Okay boys and girls, we're done for the day. Time went by really fast today. Sure, see you tomorrow. Next day. After presentations. Lovely. Man, I wish my brain was as absorbent and spongy as all of yours. And now you all know what comes next. Test time! Question 1. Who was called the Father of Manga? Osamu Tezuka. Question 2. What was the first English manga translated? I think when, not what was it? 18th century, they did say it went all the way back. What were the first manga called? Kibyoushi, I remember that. What most distinguishes shoujo girls manga from shonen boys manga? Feelings. All of the above, I think. In the 1980s, what type of anime was becoming super popular, even in America? Giant robots. Where does today's manga have its roots? Ancient Japanese traditions, like the Kibyoushi. I'm going to say all of the above. Test is over. B, try for a higher score. Yay, I got B. Well, thanks for watching. Like the video if you feel that you've learnt a lot about the history of anime and manga, because I feel like I did. Well, bye.